who have we been joined by? He's in the studio with us.
So the former general manager of Nsoatreman Sporting Club.
Or
it's a football club.
It's a football club.
Football club. Okay. So Nsoatreman Football Club.
Yes.
Former general manager.
Yes.
Eric Alagidede.
Eric, how are you doing? Good morning.
Bro, good to see you guys.
It's nice to see you too. We haven't met in a while.
Yes.
We haven't met in a while. I hope everything is cool.
Charlie, I'm enjoying Greece.
Eric, your former club is in the news, not for the most pleasant reasons. We have to admit, it's not for the most pleasant reasons. But following last week Sunday, we all followed the Ghana Premier League, a tough game between Nsoatreman and Asante Kotoko. Little did we know that it was about to evolve into a very, very complex situation, a situation we are still trying to understand, and the police is trying to get to the bottom of this. As somebody who worked with the club in a very strong capacity, you were a former GM. What are your thoughts on this sad episode involving the stabbing of a fan and involving your former club? Just your initial thoughts on what has happened so far.
Well, Nathan, a very good morning to your cherished listeners, and first time in the studio. I've tried as much as possible to stay away from this, but Sporty, here I am.
You can't stay away from this.
First of all, let me just express my condolences to Kumasi Asante Kotoko and the bereaved family of our brother Poli. I mean, he's somebody I know personally.
Oh, I see.
I mean, when you follow the Ghana Premier League, there are certain characters. Definitely, you will come across them in one way or the other. I go to, as he said, chairman, and then we'll go dressing room, in a very joking manner. And I said, even at home, I don't go to my dressing room because it's purely a technical area. I do purely my managerial job. Technical team handles whatever they are supposed to do. And we all joked at it. And so it's a very unfortunate one. It's difficult at this particular moment if you are close to Nsoatreman. It's very, very difficult. And I am just trying to imagine how everybody around the club at this time is feeling. And I got a lot of calls from most of these boys who I sent to that club, and everybody is asking, what's the way forward for us? And I said, look, from where I sit, I don't know, because the man says, I'm pulling out. And I told them, I said, well, the FA says they've not received anything official yet, so just stay in there and let's see, maybe things would just normalize. But it's a very difficult situation, Nathan, and I can imagine everybody around the club, from the club owner to those running it, and the players, the technical team members, the supporters, and everybody. If you have been to Nsoatre, you would understand how they love their team. And so it's a very difficult one. And I saw the traditional council making some efforts as at yesterday to try and reach out to Asante Man Council so that in one way or the other they can also put their mouth in the matter and try to see the way forward. But at this juncture, trust me, if you are close to Nsoatreman Football Club, it's not the best of times.
Wow. You were a former GM. Just give us tell us when we say you are former, or when you are a GM of a Ghana Premier League club, let's say at Nsoatreman, what was your job description? What were you tasked to do?
Well, basically as the general manager, the day-to-day running of the club lies with you. And so whatever it takes from the technical team, the playing body, players getting injured, preparing for games, travels, every other thing that concerns the club lies with you.
Okay.
And so on a match day, for instance, it is your responsibility to make sure that, look, my people that I put on the ground, they arrange the necessary security that are supposed to be at the game, the paramedics, which includes the ambulance service, and every other thing that you need for the game. Because when you go to the pre-match, the match commissioner is definitely going to ask. And so sometimes I have to go to the pre-match to just make sure that all the arrangements are made. Because sometimes when you leave jobs for people, they end up disappointing. And so you would want to have the best on a match day. So you just make yourself available. So me, when I wake up on a match day, I'm almost always at the site from morning till maybe around 12, thereabout, when I would have to go back, go prepare, and then come back for the game. By then, I would have made sure everything is set on the ground for that particular home game to be played. And so, as a general manager, you are in charge of the day-to-day running of the club, and every other thing around the club is centered on you.
And you're saying that on match day, it is you will have to ensure that there are people on the ground so that everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. You have to delegate.
Before, during, and after.
Yes, you have to delegate and make sure where you think people cannot be trusted, you get involved and get it done. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't go well, you take the bullet. So it's better for you if you think you cannot trust the people to deliver whatever you are telling them to do. Then it's better for you to get involved and make sure that the right things are done. And it is your responsibility to make sure that you get the police after the game to lead the away team out of the stadium and take them to maybe Sunyani, because most of the policemen who come on match days are coming from Sunyani. So they lead the team bus. There are some from Nsoatreman and other police stations. But in the match involving Kotoko, you don't expect less than 120 policemen. So definitely you are going to pick them from various stations. So they get them, put them on the road, and lead their bus to somewhere around Sunyani.
How far is Sunyani from Nsoatreman?
Maximum 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Maximum. I see.
Yeah.
I see. Tell me something. So on a match day, we've been speaking to some CEOs on getting their own perspectives on this. On match day, so on a Sunday, the game is at 3.
Yeah.
Take us through how you get police people to come or the security agencies to be there. Just run us through, let's say, between Friday and Sunday. Run us through what you'd have typically done ahead of, say, a game involving Nsoatreman and Asante Kotoko.
Okay, so on Monday, you would have to send letters to the police service reminding them that there is a game on Sunday to be played. You send a similar letter to the ambulance service. You send a similar one to the Red Cross so that they will be aware. And then you place a call, maybe let's say on Thursday, and remind them that the game is still on. Nothing has changed. So on Sunday morning in particular, what normally happens is that one policeman, somebody from the ambulance service, someone from Red Cross, they all have to be present at the pre-technical meeting where the match commissioner and his referees, the home team and the away team will all be present. So people who have roles to play on the match day are supposed to be at the pre-match. So when the match commissioner is asking the officer in charge, how many policemen are you providing for this particular game? It is not me or my team manager who is supposed to answer. It is the police officer who is representing the police who will tell the match commissioner the number of policemen he is bringing.
Okay.
Both uniform men and maybe non-uniform personnel, as well as maybe if there are some CIDs who will come alongside, and if there are other security agencies who will also join, he will be in a position to brief the match commissioner. Then the ambulance service will tell them they are bringing this number of paramedics, and then they are coming with an ambulance vehicle. Then the Red Cross will repeat the same. Maybe we are coming with 8 personnel with 2 structures. So this is what goes on before the referees will now come and take the teams to give their colors that they are using for the day. They will show their GK colors, they will show their outfield players colors, and all that. Colors do not crash. Then typically the match commissioner will take everybody through the process. So this is what happens on a match day. After this, the referees will go with the match commissioner to go and inspect the field. You lead them to the field to go and inspect. Then they go and inspect the dressing rooms to make sure that you have given the away team their dressing room keys and that you have not sprinkled foreign materials in the dressing room. Yes, all in the name of superstition and all that. And that the dressing room is in a very good condition. So the match commissioner will make sure all these things are done. You hand over the key to them, their dressing room key. They will tell you what time the home team is supposed to report, and then when the away team is supposed to report.
Okay.
Nathan, this is very important because mostly you see the away team trying to arrive at a particular time that was not agreed at the pre-technical match meeting. And so most venues, you realize that there are scaffolds at the gate. So let's say at the pre-match meeting, it was agreed that the home team will arrive at 1:10.
Okay.
The away team is coming at 1:20.
Okay. But which means that there are no laid down principles to say home teams should arrive first or away teams.
It is normally accepted that by virtue of the fact that they are playing at home, let them come first.
Okay. It's more of a convention.
It's a convention.
Okay.
So the home team will arrive maybe 5-10 minutes later. Then you also come. So this is where sometimes it creates confusion because the away team has arrived. The home team is not yet in. The time is not up. And they are asking the home team to open the gate for them. They will not open the gate for you. They won't. So typically this is what happens on a match day.
So, Eric, picking from what you said, there's arrangement for the police and there's also arrangement for the ambulance and the Red Cross.
Yeah.
Are these services the club pays for?
Yes, they pay.
Right.
Yes, we pay. Let me say, it is not the normal payment because honestly, if you are bringing even 50 policemen to the stadium, we pay something like 500 cedis, and I think it's not. I don't want to call it payment, but maybe it's just to supplement their fuel or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So has it always been the case that on match days at the Nsoatreman Stadium, specifically for games involving maybe Hearts of Oak or Kotoko, is it always the case that you have over 100 policemen at that match venue?
It's the norm.
When you were there?
It's the norm because matches involve, don't forget, our matches are categorized into three. Category A matches,
A, B, and
which
C.
is Hearts of Oak, Kotoko,
Yeah.
and then maybe Black Star games. Category B matches are matches involving Hearts, Kotoko, and all the other clubs. And then category C matches are like, let's say, Nsoatreman versus Brekum Chelsea,
Right.
or Bechem United versus maybe Vision FC. So, in a game involving a team like Nsoatreman and Kotoko, it's a category B match. You can't have less than 120 policemen.
So that's what I'm saying. When you were there, was it always the case that
Yes,
you had
it
that
was.
number?
Yes, it was. Because you are going to, if your stadium, you normally get 1,000 people to come and watch the games. You are looking at 3,000 or more. So, if 60 policemen have been doing other games, you probably need to look at doubling the number.
Okay.
Just to make sure that in case of any eventuality, we'll all be
Let's
safe.
cover. Nathan, I'm asking that question because from the videos we saw,
Yes.
it didn't look like there was heavy police presence. That's why I'm asking if it has always been the case when it was there.
I see. Michael Asabredu is still on the Zoom. This is the Sporty Breakfast live on Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 91.3 in Kumasi, 102.5 in Takoradi. Eric Alagidede is here. He's former GM or General Manager of Nsoatreman Football Club. He's giving us perspective really into the processes and the operations that would typically go into a game like this. We'll talk about maybe failures and gaps and all of that. But Michael, you've been listening to the conversation. I don't know whether you have any questions for Eric up until this point before we move on to the next phase of the conversation.
Eric, good morning.
Morning, Michael.
I hope you are well. So can you help us with the management structure of Nsoatreman during the time that you were there? What is it like and how the things run? I want not just the general manager, but the entire management structure of Nsoatreman FC during your time. How was it like, and how did it operate?
Okay, so when I was appointed general manager, I was tasked to form my own management. Okay, so bearing in mind also that it had to come with cost. Anyone who has worked with me, you'd understand how I like to do my things. I want to do things professionally. So the first thing I proposed was to bring some kind of professionalism into the team. And that also required that I needed to bring people from outside to come and help me to run the team and run it the way I believe we can take it to the next level.
Okay.
Well, financially we were constrained, so I couldn't bring the people I really wanted to. So I had to resort to the personnel who were available. So I didn't really have a big management team. I had like 4 people. I had my administrative manager, who is a lady, and I had for security reasons, I wouldn't want to mention the names of the people because maybe about one of them is involved in something. So I wouldn't want to mention. But
you had
I had four
people who were assisting you. And above you, who was above you?
Well, I was working with my board. So above me was the board chairman and his board. So I was taking instructions from the board chairman and the board.
And who was the board chairman?
The board chairman was Honorable Ignatius Bafuiwa. He was the board chairman.
And he's still board chairman, right?
He's still board chairman.
Okay.
He's still board chairman.
Okay. You know, Michael, any more? Does that satisfy you, Michael?
Now, I want to understand how the flow of communication was, especially leading to your last few months at the club. How was communication like? And the execution.
Okay.
There is communication from the top. How did you execute it? And all that, because you cited financial constraints. I want to so the bottom line in asking these questions is to know, on a typical match day, who was the typical Nsoatreman fan listening to or hearing from to embark or do certain things at the facility? That is what I want to understand.
Well, to be honest, the way I want things done, I didn't really have too much trust in the people, because you give tasks to someone to execute, and the way you want it done, you may not get it. So typically anyone who has been to Nsoatre, you would see that even on a match day, me, the general manager, I'm more busier than any other person, because I believe in perfection. I want things done right. So I am involved in almost every other thing, because a few occasions that I left it for people to do, it was a mess. So what I try to do is to get involved. So on the typical match day, I get so tired after the games, because from morning I am involved in everything, because I believe in time. And in football, timing is everything. Even if the player's food delays for 2 minutes, it can affect the game day. And so I'm on everybody. Make sure the food arrives. Make sure the guys are eating breakfast by 8 o'clock. Make sure lunch is ready 11 a.m. So I'm on everybody. So I move around with all the people to make sure that all these things are done. So typically on the match day, when you come to the grounds, you realize that everywhere you move, you will see me, because the way I want things to run, it has to go that way. If I leave it for someone else, I may not get the best out of it. And so on match days, I get involved in everything that is done.
So let's take it back to your time at Nsoatreman. On a typical match day, did you have a group of supporters who were your hardcore supporters who would provide security for the team, or provide some sort of security at the match venue?
Well, at the match venue, we have stewards.
Okay.
We have stewards at the match venue. And what the stewards do is to complement the efforts of the security personnel over there. Especially, what we normally do is that we share them, and then they stand in front of the stands, or they are always within the supporters, just to make sure that someone does not misbehave. you don't throw things onto the field, and then you don't cause chaos at the venue. And these are guys we pay. At the end of the game, we give them money. It may not be enough, but we pay for their services. And so when I was there, I mean, these guys, there are a few miscreants who would want to jump the wall and all that. They go stand there and then they try to stop them and all that. So we have the club, I mean, stewards who help with the security on typical match days.
So, again, when you were at Nsoatreman, did you have typical hardcore supporters who would practically work on dead bodies to do any to make sure things happen at the match venue, or things go in favor of the match, things go in favor of their club at all cost?
We have, if you go to every venue, Raymond, I tell you what, they are those supporters. They are at every match venue. They love the team so much to the extent that, look, they can go any length for the team. They are at every match venue. And for me, these are my guys. When I was at Nsoatre, because of their issues with Tamale City at their Division 1 days, when I walked into the club, I was very mindful. So my very good friends in the Nsoatre township were those guys. And when I walk into the stadium, typically, and I have my routine that I do, I will go into the inner perimeter before the match will begin, before the teams will come out. I will go into the inner perimeter and I will go around and head towards where the dressing room is. They are normally on the other side of the scoreboard.
Okay.
That's where they like to sit. They are grouped there. So when I get there, I do my amamre as usual. As soon as they see you, they start, hey, General, So I do my stuff, and then I walk to go and make sure everything is okay before the teams will proceed out. So when they start anything, and I walk towards that side, the only thing you will hear is General Yate Kasa. Case closed. It's gone. So typically, you realize that there was so much tension last season when we were attacked by Tano Bofakwa.
Right.
In that game, my coach got injured. When I entered into my team bus, my shirt was stained with so much blood. I even thought someone had stabbed me in the midst of the melee. So I was raising my shirt to check. And I realized that these were stains from injuries people sustained and all that. In the return encounter, when I got to Nsoatre, I picked so much intelligence for 2 months I couldn't sleep, Nathan. I was thinking about how to avert that disaster.
But did you speak with the police at the time? When you got all this intel? I mean, this was what, last year, 2 years ago?
Of course. We were engaging the commander, even to the point that we kept engaging the FA, we kept engaging the police command in Bron Ahafo, we engaged the police command even in Accra, to the point that they provided intelligence from Accra to come for that game. But what actually did the trick was the fact that we did a lot of engagement in the township. Because, look, you can bring all the security there you want to bring. If those people wanted, and the point is that they were bent on revenging that particular thing that happened. But we needed to look for those people who had the tendency to cause chaos. Speak to them individually, group them, 2, 3, speak to them, find a way to let them understand the consequences of that particular action they are trying to take. If they do it, this is what will happen. And we managed it so well to the point that we played that game. Before actually came to draw, we couldn't even win. They drew the game. And everybody left the stadium. No single person can say that even someone pushed me. No.
So, Nathan, quick one.
Yeah.
Typical Kotoko Nsoatreman game. Is this a game that should heighten tension?
No.
Is this a game that is played?
There's no history between the two teams at all.
And when myself and Maxwell walked into the club last season, we did a double over Kotoko. We beat them 1-0 at Nsoatre. went to Kumasi. We beat them 2-1. Now, even last season, before the season commenced, we played a friendly game with Kotoko. That should tell you the kind of rapport that we enjoyed. Maxwell as a former player and as a former coach, myself with Dasobere and Co. relationship. We played a friendly game. It was 0-0 in Kumasi before the season began. And even this season, we played in the JA4 Cup. We played in the JA4 Cup. And it was, Kotoko didn't see any club to invite. They invited Nsoatreman to come and play. Once again, it was as a result of the relationship we've built with them. Last season, in the middle of the season, the second half of the season, we sold our right back to Kotoko, Emmanuel Kote. My club owner, it's a decision he never wanted to agree to. Had to find time and tell him, look, player wants to go. We need to allow him to go. If you keep an unhappy player, may not even give his best. Had to speak to him to understand, for us to let the boy join Kotoko. So there has never been any history between Nsoatreman and Kotoko to say that, oh, we've gone to Kumasi, they harass us. I led the team to Obuasi in the first round of the season. It was match day 2. We had just returned from Cameroon. When we came back, the game was postponed. So it was after our Africa campaign, we had to go and play. Nothing happened in Obuasi. Nothing. I don't, if anything happened at my blind side, I would have still heard that something happened. Nothing happened. I was with the team. We drove behind the team bus. I slept in Kumasi. So the team went to sleep in Obuasi. So I joined the team at their hotel in Obuasi, and we drove to the hotel. I drove with my friend. We were behind the team bus, and then we drove, got into the stadium. The team went into their dressing room, and the only thing that happened in that game was a penalty that was denied us. And that is something on the field of play.
Yes.
So you can only fault the referees for that particular action. But in the game in Obuasi, nothing happened. So Raymond, I mean, there has never been any history of a game between Kotoko and Nsoatreman, not to the best of my ability. Maybe if it happened when I was not there, but during my time, I think we played 4 games with them. And
so based on this, I'm sure you must be very surprised that the weekend's encounter went the way it went.
I wasn't just surprised. It's shocking to me because I'm here to recover from that particular incident, because I'm just imagining if I was still in the helm of affairs. I mean, how was I going to, someone is dead. What explanation are you going to give? I don't know the explanation I would have given, because a game that you have won, and then someone goes outside the stadium to stab a fan. Because Nsoatreman really needed those points so badly, because where they are on the league table, they needed to push up. And that was a must-win game for them. The game has been won. So what again? I don't know. So I'm still in shock, because I don't really know what led to that. I don't know.
Let's come to your former boss.
Yeah.
We all know he's been in government, he's been in parliament, When it comes to his football side, what kind of person is he?
He's very passionate. He's a very passionate person when his team is playing. He hardly sits. Sometimes you can't watch the game with him. So I don't sit close to him. I remember the FA Cup final against Bofakwa last season at the University of Ghana Stadium. I was sitting with my big brother, who is a professor. He had come to watch the game with me. So we're sitting together, and then I was just watching him from afar, and he was standing. They offered him a seat at the VVIP. He said no. He came down, and he was just standing throughout. And we were down by a goal in the first half. So he said we should go to the dressing room, and I didn't want to go, so I didn't. He went there to speak to the boy. He said, look, guys, there's money. Win the game and come for the money. The vice president of the board was also there. They went to speak to the boys. The boys came out in the second half. So I went to him in the second half, and he just folded his hands like this, and he was standing. You can see him tapping the leg until the ball went in. When the equalizer came, then you can see that the man is a bit relieved. This is typical Bafuegua. He wants to see his team win. So when he comes to the stadium, even sitting sometimes comes a problem. I can tell you, he's so passionate about the football team. I'm telling you, he's very, very passionate about it.
His name has come up on countless occasions in the course of this matter. Allegations made up against him about inciting supporters. Lots of allegations have been made against him. Does it surprise you?
No, I wasn't there, and the Bafuegua I know is passionate about his football. He's not somebody I think he can hit a fly. No, he wants to see the team win all the time, and so sometimes he can even make certain promises. You as the general manager, you'll be like, really? Yeah? He can go to some extent and make certain promises just to make sure that the team is winning, especially when it comes to big games involving Hearts of Oak, involving Kotoko. Last season, I remember at Nsoatreman, the boys were having their lunch around 11 when he walked in with the vice president of the board. Then he whispered into my ears, say, tell your boys, they win this game, I'm paying each player 5,000 Ghana cedis. This is him.
Yeah.
And right after the game, the money was given to me at the stadium. They made the money available at the stadium. So I told them it's late. Coach should take control, and then the following day, share the money for the boys. This is typically who he is. He can make any promise just to make sure that the team wins. But to say he will incite supporters to attack somebody, that's no, I haven't come across anything like that. No.
So in all of this, police matters, him being granted bail and all.
Yeah.
You have worked with him before. What could be going through his mind at this moment? What would the feeling be like for him?
It will be difficult for him. Seriously, knowing him, I'm not surprised that they came out with a statement that they want to pull out, because he's somebody he wouldn't want to even hurt a fly, so to think that someone died at his venue, I'm sure that pain is what led him to maybe think of taking that decision. But Raymond, is very difficult. Some 8-10 weeks ago, he was a cabinet minister. He was a member of parliament. All of a sudden, you are picked up, you are locked behind bars, you are taken to court, you are granted bail to go back. Investigations are continuing. Come on, if you are in his shoes, and if I'm in his shoes, certainly a lot will be going through my mind. I don't know what will be going through his mind by now, but even if I'm in his shoes, I wouldn't want to be, but if I'm in his shoes, a lot will definitely run through my mind now, because someone who was up there some few weeks ago, I'm not sure he was put under house arrest. I'm sure probably they put him behind bars with.
Yeah.
So that feeling alone, it's a feeling that can lead you to want to quit this thing called football. And from where I sit, even if he will do football, he may not be doing it at the highest level.
Wow, that's a very interesting insight there. Michael Asagbedo is still on the Zoom. Michael, I don't know if you have a question for Eric.
I like the way he's flowing. It should continue.
Eric, I just want to ask you this. Where do you think the plot was lost? What do you think must have gone wrong on Sunday for us to have this matter on our hands? And it's an issue on the hands of everybody, not only the football people, but those of us who are in the media. This is what we've been discussing since Sunday evening. Where do you think the story went wrong for all those involved on Sunday?
I think probably everybody's attention was on the game because the game itself was so hot. Players getting red cards here and there, fighting each other, and all that. And so, to me, I think everyone's focus was on the game. So probably everybody took their eyes off the other things. And if I listen to the narrations, because I was not there, and we are all relying on hearsay. When I hear what people are saying, I had an opportunity to speak to Kwesi Appiah yesterday.
Okay.
I called, he did not answer, and he called back. He didn't even know that I had resigned. So the first thing he said was, Eric, now what he now go for you know, so I had to tell coach. I said, no, coach, I left in December. He said, no wonder. And I said, oh, no. So we had a conversation, and he was trying to tell me what actually happened. And where I think they also got it wrong was to allow the gentleman to step out of the stadium when the game was not over.
Okay. In your estimation,
in my estimation, I feel he should have stayed because there were a lot of Kotoko supporters in the VIP stand. So it was going to be very difficult for anybody to come in there, bypass all the people, and go and attack him without us not seeing the person.
Yeah.
So it would have been better for them to all wait for the game to end. When they are moving, they all move together. When it happens like that, and someone shows up and wants to attack the gentleman, it becomes easier for you to see who wants to attack him. But for them to have said 2 people should escort him to go and take the lead, he should take the lead and go. Now, that one in itself was even much more dangerous to me, because if you know where the Nsoatreman Stadium is, from the stadium to the main road, you will be doing like, if you are walking, you will be doing like maybe 10 minutes. So
I see.
So if he was going to go, did he come with a car? Was he going to be allowed to drive from that place alone to join the main road and go? It was dangerous. If he was going to walk to the roadside and those 2 people who were also escorting him were going to walk with him, anything could have happened, because there are a lot of bushes around there before you get to the facility or before you get to the next town, which is Chumasi Krum. So I feel that they should have allowed the game to end. Then they will all move together with the gentleman, probably let him join the team bus or one of the officials' car, and then they would have driven out there. But it's unfortunate. The incident has happened already. Maybe next time when Kotoko are playing and they go to a venue and they sense that there's so much tension, or any other team, and they sense that there's so much tension, they should not allow any of their officials to leave the stadium alone or to try and say he should go. Because even on his way, let's say he was driving, somebody could have crossed his car, or even shot him on the way. Because if it's something that someone had actually planned to take the young man's life, they could have still done it on the way. Between Nsoatreman and Sunyani, anything can happen on that way. So for me, I think that if any team goes to any venue and it's becoming so much tension in the stadium, they should just stay focused and allow the game to end. And then maybe, if possible, call in 1-2 security people, and they will come and lead you to your.
Where do Nsoatreman go from here? Because we've already heard them say that they don't want to play in the league anymore, but the FA says they haven't said so officially. There's an entire process when it comes to withdrawing from the league, so that's on the legal side. But where does the club go from here? Because now, going forward, whenever you mention Nsoatreman, it is this association that will be made, and the club will have to live with that image or that tag for a very, very long time. What can they do to repair their image? What do they do going forward?
Difficult, but they have to, first of all, assist officials to try and get the killer of the young man. Look, for all of us to be on the safer side, when we identify the killer, this whole tension will come down. Trust me. Because the killer has to face the law. Because as at now, see this man putting his hard-earned money in there. Anyone who Michael has been to Nsoatre, he will tell you the facilities that are available at Nsoatre. Apart from Hearts of Oak, I don't see any club in Ghana with more facilities than maybe Wafa, Hearts of Oak. There is no any other club which has more facilities than Nsoatreman. No club comes close. They have huge accommodations which can accommodate over 100 players. Yes.
Is that where the players live?
Yes, most of the players live there. If few of them want to live in town, obviously. when you bring big boys from Accra, they want to live in town. So some of them live in town. But most of them live at the camp. And it's huge. There is a school behind it. There is a swimming pool, huge facilities. I mean, will anybody think this man really doesn't want to do football and then he put up all these facilities? He really enjoys the game. He wants to invest in the game. That is why he's putting up all these facilities. It's a difficult one. I think everybody who in one way or the other is connected to this thing, they should try and assist for us to find the killer first and foremost. And I'm sure when we find the killer and we hand him over to the authorities, this whole tension will come down. Nsoatreman can go to Asante Kotoko and speak to them. I'm sure their traditional leaders are trying to initiate that process. And the club as well, Bafwe is a known Kotoko fan.
Oh, okay.
Yes. He's a known Kotoko fan. Kotoko. Yes. He used to contribute.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He used to contribute to buy players for Asante Kotoko. This is one side people don't know. He is an Ashanti.
Yeah.
The mother is from Ochirikrum. Yes. It's something a lot of people don't know. So, I mean, he has bought players for Kotoko before. So, he should tell you that he is the last person who would want to hurt Asante Kotoko. And I'm sure when they find the killer, then, for sure, the peace process can begin. I'm sure when they initiate it and then they go, people like Kwesi Appiah, Nana Pinkra and the rest, there can be a very nice football game to make sure that we are bringing back the two teams. Whatever has happened is gone. I mean, we can't do anything. And I'm sure you would also want to go to the deceased family and offer some kind of help, knowing the kind of person he is.
So, in all of this, the impression a lot of Ghanaians have is that fans in that Bono area are very unforgiving. The level of intolerance is high. They are very violent. They are very rowdy. Take us through that Bono area. What is it like for them when it comes to supporting their football club? How are they like?
They love their football. And the other thing I can tell you is that they won't allow you to intimidate them when they are at their home grounds. No. They don't care. You can be Hearts of Oak, you can be Ali, you can be Kotoko, you can be whoever you are. When you come to their home grounds, no, they will not allow you to intimidate them.
Where intimidation means?
Where intimidation, you know how our big clubs behave. Even when they are far away from home, they still want to behave as if they are superior. And when you come to the Bono area, that is how they support their football. They won't allow you to have your way. They will come to the stadium in their numbers. They will support. They will make noise. If they have to insult, they will insult you well. Yeah. So typically, that is the Bono area.
So where does the violence come in?
I don't know, but it's just a few people. Like our game against Bofakwa, for instance, a game that ended, all of a sudden, some few fans who were aggrieved jumped the inner perimeter. They started attacking everybody, players, technical, and everybody. It's always a few people who, at those venues, who behave in that manner. And it's so unfortunate. But over the years, I think we've not really tried to deal with this particular canker. Because, like you are saying, there are so many venues when you go there. Teams go there, they complain. Teams go, they complain. Teams go, they complain. Yet, nothing is being done. So it becomes a normal thing. But I can tell you, when we were in charge of this club, I don't think anybody has come to Nsoatreman to play a game and has said that they were intimidated, they were this. Because I kept telling them, I said, look, you don't need to intimidate your opponent to win. You need to have a very good team. You need to have a very sound technical bench. And then you need to put proper structures in place. When all the right things are done, believe you me, you don't need to struggle to win games. And this is exactly what we were doing last season. You put the structures in place. Anybody who comes there, we beat you. And then it's as simple as that. When the game is won, who is going to create violence? Nobody. They want to see their team winning, and the team is winning.
Well, Nathan.
Yep.
Interesting.
Very interesting insights. Eric, thank you for coming.
I like the part that the fans are passionate about their football.
I mean, that's for that.
And it's just a few.
Just a few of them.
Just a few of them.
And I like something Eric said, that Nsoatreman as a football club will have to be very involved in getting to the bottom of this. You see, because it does a lot of things, but the most important thing is it clears their name. Yeah. Because the last thing you want as a football club is to have this tag around you, right? Look, it's one thing if fans do all kinds of, but it's a completely different story when somebody dies at your home ground, right?
If someone is killed,
at your home ground, and you have your chairman involved, it's at stake.
And it makes it difficult, because even if we find the killer and whilst he's facing the law, over a period of time, the sanctions will be lifted. Any team traveling to Nsoatre, that's Stigma. They will be very afraid.
Exactly.
So everybody going to Nsoatre to watch a football game is going to be very, very, very careful. And even the town folks themselves. Now, it's the moment
have you spoken to anybody?
I speak to people every other day, and people call me.
How do they feel?
People call me, and we speak. My players call me, supporters are calling me. I mean, people around, they call, and we talk. And one person called me yesterday, and I became sad. Say, General, Modiye Kronidin Ako Amanone. That was when we played in Africa. So it means, literally, he's saying that we took the name of Nsoatre
and we took it to
Africa and to the rest of the world. There were people who didn't know about Nsoatre. By virtue of the fact that we played in the Africa Interclub competitions, people are Googling Nsoatre, where is it? And people are beginning to know and hear about the town. And all of a sudden, the next moment, all this is going down the drain because someone has been killed at that same venue. And he feels so bad. He's a big fan of the club. He does not miss games.
I see. What about the players? they were, I mean, of course, they didn't know.
Originators of all of this.
They were the
originators.
originators
On the pitch.
Yes.
That fight on the pitch sparked all of this.
Raymond, they didn't know even what had happened. And when I spoke to some of them, they were like, yeah, winning match, Trent honorable as usual, a double bonus. So to them, they didn't know what has happened. It was when they came out of the dressing room and they were going to where they stay, was when they started hearing that someone has been killed. So the players spoke to them, and they are like, we played. So in the course of the game, we've won, and it's a hard-fought win, 3 points for us. We are looking to get double bonus from club president, and all we are hearing is that someone has been killed, and the whole place is, thrown into something else.
See.
Eric.
Wow. Yes, Michael, you have the final question, and then we wrap up the segment.
Yeah, Eric. The FA is meeting chief executive officers of clubs tomorrow. You wouldn't be part because you are no more with a Premier League club. But what I want to know is, why do you think we are where we are as regards our fight to stop hooliganism? And then two, if you are going to that meeting tomorrow, what would be that message you carry with you there?
Well, first of all, I think that fighting hooliganism is a collective effort, and all of us haven't done enough, especially club owners, club chief executive officers, general managers. We all seem to know the people who cause the troubles at the various match venues. We all know them. And sometimes, look, Michael, I will be very, very honest with you. I had my worst nightmare at the Doma Nabuan Park last season, where literally as a general manager, I was held against the fence. Policemen were standing and they were watching. And I'm like, if me, as a general manager, I can be treated this way, you can imagine if it was a fan. So it was my people who went with me. Virtually, they had to come to my rescue and fight before I got out of that situation.
Wow.
So you see, you report these things, nothing is being done. And the same people who are going to attend that meeting tomorrow, you get to his venue, and then he pinpoints 1, 2, 3 people. You see these ones, go and attack them. They finish and they come. They want to come and talk to you. So I keep telling football administrators, me, when I come to your venue, you instigate violence against me, I won't talk to you because it's intentional. You don't see me in the name of 3 points. You tell people to come after me or my supporters. You don't know what it will lead to. I'm sure even if someone wanted Pule to be beaten at Nsoatre, maybe the person did not think that it will lead to his death. They thought, oh, let's torture him small. Let's show him something small. Then it leads to something else. So why would you tell people to go out there and attack someone in the name of 3 points? The game, as I have already stated, if you recruit well, you have a sound technical team, if you put your structures well, you will win games at home, you will win games away. You don't need to do those things. Michael, if I were to walk into that meeting tomorrow, I'll probably be telling the FA that, look, it's high time we start dealing with people, irrespective of their affiliation. The friendship thing is becoming too much. And it is one thing that is not helping us. Club A has done something. Oh, okay, let's let it slide. Club B goes to do a similar thing. Let them face the sanctions. If we don't stop that attitude, it's not going to help anybody. And I think that we all need to understand that as administrators of this game, if we want it to stop, it will stop. Yes. If we, the people who lead the various clubs, if we want it to stop, it will stop. And so it stops with us. For me, it starts with us, and it will surely end with us. So if I were in that meeting, I would tell them the truth of the matter is that most administrators are not sincere. And that is where we have the problem. We are not sincere with ourselves. And so we go out there, create the scenes for people to come and cause chaos, and we think that it's normal. We need to begin to be sincere with ourselves. And when we start that process, I'm telling you, Raymond, we won't see these things because it's a very big pool. People are making money in football. And we are here. We are killing people. No sponsor in the league. There is no money, no TV rights, nothing. The people who are getting millions of pounds and dollars in Italy, in UK, all over in Europe, in other parts of Africa, leagues in Tanzania are making so much money. The Ghana Premier League has no money. It is people dipping their hands into their pockets. These are discussions we should be having. We should not be having discussions about stopping hooliganism. We should be having discussions about bringing money into the league where we can pay players 5,000 and above for them to stay and not move to Iraq. These are the discussions we should be having. It's sad. It's sad.
Strong words from Eric Alagidede. Eric Alagidede is he's a former GM, General Manager of Nsoatreman Football Club. Immediate past. Yeah, From makes it look like some 20 years ago. His immediate past general manager at Nsoatreman Football Club. It was in his time that they won the MTN FA Cup. Let's put that. So Eric can proudly put it on his CV.
And he took the team to Africa.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the time you've taken to come here. It's a complex conversation, but we appreciate the fact that you were honest and candid. Yeah. And he had some very, very good words for the GFA. The GFA is meeting clubs this week. They are meeting the leadership of fan groups or supporter groups this week. And then later in the week, they'll be speaking with club CEOs. And Eric has shared a few thoughts on what he believes should be discussed there.
This is SportyFM, the voice of sport.